Picture this, a recording studio somewhere far, far away.
Welcome to the fantasy zone. Get ready.
Welcome, Watchers of Illusion, to my Castle of Confusion on the 28th of July. I'm looking at Kickle Cubicle on the NES. Just to update you, this was meant to go out last week, but unfortunately my PC decided it was going to completely die. So I've been having to wait for a replacement. However, we're running on nitro power now, so I thought I'd give you this today. So here we go. So, developed by Irem, and it's kind of, yeah, I don't really know how to describe this. Is it a platformer? I don't really know. There's no platforms in it. Anyway, the idea is to collect all of the little money bags that you can see on the screen. It's a puzzle game, and that will take you to the next level, as you're about to see. So we're in Garden Land now. I think there's 5 stages in total on this game. He reminds me very much of Dizzy, but I don't think it was Dizzy inspired. But you can sort of see where I'm coming from there with that, I think. So each one of those ice cubes is a different level. So there's lots of levels to get through. So this game will take up a fair bit of your time if you're wanting to complete it. But I'm going to get through it as much as I can for you today. So let's have a look. So, controls, I think we'll look at first. So we've got left, right, up and down, and then we've got that ice blast, which freezes the enemies, which is nice. The enemies are so damn cute, though, you don't really want to kill them. So you turn them into ice blocks, and then you can push those ice blocks to make ledges, or fill in some gaps, or whatever you need to do to reach those money bags. You can see that the enemies have already changed. We've got that penguin guy with a fedora for some reason at the top of the screen. Now you can freeze all enemies that you encounter, which is great. Some of them you can kick along. I think the little blue guys you can kick along, but others not so much. But we'll have a look at that in a bit. Graphically, let's have a look. It's very simple graphics, very minimal colours, but you know what? It works. And we're about to talk to Corn on the Cob for some reason. Not really sure why we're talking to a corn on the cob, but there you go. Anyway, so basically the idea is that you've got to collect, you've got to sort of clear each stage to progress, and then I think there's like there must be an ending or boss or something at the end of everything. We'll try and get through it and see how we get on, because I'd really like to show you at least, you know, the first part of the game, if possible. But, you know, plans change. You can see here, the lollipops, by the way, are just bonus points. So, we'll look at the UI, bringing that onto a nice little link there. So, score, top left, time to the right of that, and then your lives, designated by 2 little ice cube faces there, and that's about it. There's no health bars or anything, it's one-shot death. Oh, just so the controls as well, you've also, if you press select on your control pad, you will die. So I guess if you make a mistake, you can sort of reset the level. I believe that was used in Yazzie as well, I think it was Yazzie, which is a really neat little feature, actually. I mean, you can reset your death, which is great. But yeah, it's, you know, and the difficulty curve is quite nice as well. You're kind of finding yourself not even thrown in at the deep end. You've got a nice sort of learning curve to go with, nice and soft to begin with, and I suspect it will go hard later. Now, keep your minds out of the gutter. But yeah, you can. Oh, yes, you can also kill the blue guys by knocking a frozen blue guy into one of the others. So basically, you can use the ice cubes as weapons, which is quite fun actually. You can see there that we've now made a path. And we can go through there. Sometimes, though, I'm not sure if they actually make a pattern when these guys move, as in their movements, I'm not sure are predetermined or not, but they don't seem to follow your character at this stage anyway. I don't know whether they do later on, but we'll check it out. So there we go, aubergines, I think, or plums. I don't really know, but yeah. So there we are. Let's move on to sound. Now it's actually quite a little ditty as you play. There's little sound effects going on. Pretty much, NES, just standard NES stock noises, really, I would say. But it works. The game is simple. It needs to have simplicity all round, and it has. Right then, so let's. So those bounce back. You can, if you want to pick up the extra life, you can do. You don't particularly need to. There you go. Just knock the other guy off there, and that's just going to bounce left and right now, which is fun. There you go. No, just easy to do. All right. So you can see they're pumpkins now. Great. Now let's have a look at. Playability-wise, I think this is one of those games that it just works. So pick up your controller, give it a go, because there's not much to learn, and the learning curve is quite nice. I think it's probably going to be one of those games that gets quite difficult later on, just because we know that this happens. So now we've got another enemy on the screen. Not sure what that's meant to be. Oh, it's a chicken. There's a chicken with shades on, ladies and gentlemen. But you can see there's holes now, so we've got to basically go around those holes to be able to make our pathway. Now the chickens can be frozen chickens, lovely, but you've got to make that pathway all the way down now, so you've got to rely on the blue guys to come walking in front of you. Oh yeah, you can put up these little stoppers as well. Now what they do is basically you can sort of determine where the little blue guys go by blocking them, and then they will sort of hit the block and move around it. So you can sort of determine where they go. So if they're not going in the right direction that you want them to, then you can pop a stopper on and it'll stop them. Also, you can block them. There doesn't seem to be any limit on how many of those you can use either. So hopefully show you a bit of that as well, because I have actually played this before, just to give it a practice run to see if it was worth reviewing, and yeah, I quite enjoyed it. So here we are, showing it to you. Has anyone played Kickle Cubicle? I don't think I've ever heard of this. This might be one of those Japanese games that no one's ever heard of, apart from the Japanese. But yeah, it's actually quite a fun little game. Now you can see here, now we've got some extra bits. We've got purple blocks, we've got a bear, I think. Is that a bear? They could have done polar bears, really, couldn't they? I mean, we're in a land of ice and snow. Anyway, each bad guy has a thing. So when you freeze some of them, there's a power block, turns them all into ice cubes. So that's quite a nice feature. But you only have 2 on this stage. Oh yes, the bear, if you freeze him and then you go up to try and hit him, he will just unfreeze. So you've got to kind of use ice in a strategic way with the bear, just to get him out of the way, really. The other way you can do it is to probably put a stopper once he goes up into an area that you can block him, and just keep him up there, because he does get annoying. So there you go, beware of the bear. So we go. Age range. Yeah, well, this is pretty much any age, to be honest. I think, it's going to appeal to the youngsters because of its simplicity and the nice cutesy graphics. But I think it's going to also appeal to the older gamer, because the difficulty level does rise, and it's a puzzle. That's it. It's a puzzle game, sort of puzzle platformer, if you like. And it does take brain power, because you're up against the clock, and I know we've got a lot of time on there at the moment, but when you start to actually have to use a lot more blocks and a lot more strategy to get across to those blocks, to the money bags and stuff, that's when your time starts to really ebb. So I would recommend... See, now I can get this one here, but I can't get the other one. So the way we're going to do that is not that. We're going to come up here. We're going to... Oh, we can block him in. That's great, that is. That was a really good thing to do. Not. But we can, yeah. I've had to smash that block there because I couldn't move. So if we knock that over there, then we can sort of go round and make a path there, look. So that's another way of doing that. We can climb up there, get that one. So you can see how it sort of works. You've got to find your way around these obstacles in your path, because if you can't find your way around the obstacles, you're going to run out of time and lose a life. Also, losing lives means that if you hit one of the bad guys as well, so you can't really There you go, I'll put a stopper there for some reason. There you go, I've just died. With his legs in the air. Fantastic. Okay. Replay factor, I think you're just going to come back to this game because it's one of those games that you will really, really want to play. I believe it's got a password system as well, so you don't have to start from the start all over again. You can input your password and away you go. So I think that's really nice. More games need to implement passwords. I mean, I suppose some of the cartridges did have batteries on them, but it wasn't, I think, more towards the SNES than the NES, to be honest. I don't think, I might be wrong, I don't think the NES had any battery backup on the cartridges. I think the Game Boy games did. But yeah, I'm not sure about the NES. Anyone know the answer to that? Please let me know. Obviously, it's a puzzle game, as I said earlier. One screen at a time, and each screen has a very varied puzzle scheme. And you can see now that they actually are starting to get a little bit more tricky. I'm going to have to sort of move. I'm going to have to sort of build down and around at the bottom of the screen there, while looking out for these little blue fellas. Now, I don't think they can get on the purple, so you're kind of safe there, but you don't want to linger too long. For obvious reasons, you're up against the clock. Now, like I've said before, I think, you know, although seem to have a lot of time now, I think, you know, that's going to change. When you start getting trickier stages, it takes longer to complete. You are then running the risk of losing your time. So that just about wraps up the review, actually. So I can now turn my attention to you lovely people. Thank you ever so much for your... Oh no! Thank you ever so much to everybody who tunes in on a regular basis. Hope you're hitting the little bell icon on YouTube to be notified when a brand new review comes out. That will keep you up to date with the latest content. Also, thank you to my Patreons. That's lovely to see you guys. And thank you ever so much for your support. I have a video coming for you guys, exclusive to Patreon only. If you fancy helping me out with the channel, then come and be a supporter. It's a very low amount a month, and you'll get exclusive videos and other exclusive content. So I hope you're going to enjoy it. So yeah, welcome to all new subscribers. It's great to have you here, and you guys that have been with me for, well, the last 4 years. You know, I can't tell you how grateful I am. You guys keep the channel going, because without you, I wouldn't have a channel. And yeah, what started out as just a retro project for me, it's turned into something a bit bigger. So, you know, and that's down to you guys. So thank you for helping out with that. But yes, my Patreon details are in the description below. If you'd like to become a Patreon, just follow the link and follow the instructions. And yeah, just let me know what you'd like to see. I've got one tier at the moment. If you'd like to see other stuff exclusive, then let me know and I will do what I can to implement. But don't worry, non-Patreons, you're still going to get good content. You're still going to get regular reviews. One thing Patreons will get is full HD reviews. And at the moment we're looking at the PlayStation 2. So there you are. Would you like me to do a little teaser video as well, so you can see what's coming up in for the Patreons, and maybe that might entice you. I don't know. But let me just tell you again, the reason I do this is I do suffer from anxiety, and this is kind of like a crutch for me. So this I kind of see as my work now, even though I'm not getting paid for it. I just enjoy bringing this content to new eyes. You know, there's a lot of people who've never played a retro game before, and hopefully this will inspire them to actually get out there and play them, because, well, why not? Some of the most playable games in history were retro games. Some of the hardest games in history are retro games. Some of the games that were back in the 80s and 90s were a lot harder than the games on PC these days. And even console now, they tend to stick with the graphics rather than the gameplay. And I think for that, you know, the Spectrum, for example, had very few colours. I think it could only maintain 4 at any one time. So, you know, the game had to be good. So there we are. Anyway, that's it from me. I'm glad to be back, and I will be doing some more of these very soon. Patreons, look out for your content soon. You keep it retro, and bye for now.